You know what I find really odd? It's the fact that now we're going to be calling this the Home Spider-Man franchise. You know, because when we talk about the Spider-Man movies, we say, oh, the original Spider-Man movies, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and now we got the Home Spider-Man movies. It's just weird.
It's laser time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review. We'll talk about movies and comics too. Let's all go watch the review. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? I am Laser Dude. Welcome to another movie review. Today, we are reviewing Spider-Man Far From Home. So, Spider-Man Far From Home is the second Spider-Man movie in the new franchise. I guess, what is it? This is 7th overall? Yeah, how crazy is that? But, no wait, 8th. I forgot to count Into the Spider-Verse. It stars Tom Holland as Spider-Man, Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, and you know. So Far From Home is the movie that picks up right after the last movie, which was, of course, Endgame, the biggest superhero movie to ever be made. Honestly, I am so sick that it's coming up just a little short to beat Avatar. I am so mad. But anyways, this one is the final movie of Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It closes it out. This is the first one that takes place after everyone's brought back, and I love how they handle it right in the movie. How they go at it right away, and how they... just every single thing about this movie, how they handle the whole thing of returning to the universe. They play at it. They bring up topics that we've been bringing up for a long time. You know, it's like people are now 5 years older. How crazy is that? How weird is that? And they address it and they do it in a funny way. It's really good. And now Peter Parker, he's been doing charity events as Spider-Man with Aunt May, and he's not sure exactly what he's going to do and who he's going to be now that he's Spider-Man and Tony is gone and he doesn't know what to do. So he's going on this trip around the world with his class, and on this trip he gets recruited by Nick Fury to fight this interdimensional threat that's coming and threatening the Earth. So let me just say for this review, part of this movie is really good. I mean, and by really good, I mean some of the best Spider-Man stuff we've had in the live-action movies. I'm going to have to get into more for the spoiler review, so I'm going to do basically the basic review really quick. I'll just go over the stuff that I really like. Tom Holland is still a great Spider-Man. He might be the best Peter Parker we've seen. The only thing holding back for is we don't really have fully his motivation from Uncle Ben just yet. We don't have that side of him. But in terms of being Spider-Man and being Peter Parker, he acts all the ways that you would want him to act. The only times I think the movie bogs down a little bit is when it dives more into the humor that feels like it belongs in a romantic comedy. Like, most of the time I like the humor. It's very funny, but there's sometimes where it feels like with characters... These feel like characters that should be in a romantic comedy, not in a superhero movie. Zendaya's Mary Jane, I like her a little bit more in here. It's still not necessarily Mary Jane from the comics, but she's less... mean-spirited without a point in here. Like when she says something more mean-spirited, it's more quirky and funny, and rather than just, wow, she seems like a little bit of a jerk. I liked her in here. I wish she was in here a little bit more. One of the things that this movie, since the pacing in the beginning is a little weird. Like, I like the way it handles a lot of the stuff from the movies, but the way it handles Peter Parker liking Mary Jane, it's kind of weird. Because it just starts right off the bat, hey, I like Mary Jane, this is what I'm going to do to woo her to me. And it's just like, whoa, hold your horses, buddy. I mean, the last we saw of you, in relation to talking about a girl, you were all about this Liz chick. And then all of a sudden, okay, maybe ease us into this a little bit more, okay? But when they do get her more involved in the plot, I like her. She's fun. Ned, I think, might have a little bit too many scenes in this movie. I think he's okay, but I think maybe they might have overused him a little bit. But everyone else that I really like in this film, especially Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. I'll go into it more in the spoiler part of the review, but I thought the way he handles his character and the way they integrated him into this whole film, I loved every minute of it. So for any complaints that I really have about this movie, they're really a little bit more of a little bit of a difference in tone. I think the humor is still very, very funny throughout this whole movie. There's a lot of scenes that got me laughing very hard. I liked Tom Holland as Spider-Man still a lot. I like Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. And so I am going to give Spider-Man I nearly said Homecoming. I don't like this whole home subtitle thing, okay? Because now what's the next one gonna be? Spider-Man going back home? Home is where the heart is? Spider-Man homeless? I don't know. Anyway, I'm giving Spider-Man Far From Home a... 8 out of 10. I think this is a great movie. Honestly, when I pit it up against the best of Spider-Man movies, I think it might be in the top 3, maybe the top 4. I haven't really thought all of it through in comparison just yet, but I like the way the movie is handled. I like the way the characters are handled in the movie. There's some elements I think might be a little sloppy, but overall, I had a great time with it. So for spoilers, which is what I really want to talk about, the reason I love Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is because I am a sucker for taking such a minuscule thing in previous incarnations and blowing it up so now it's a huge thing, you know? Like, the fact that Mysterio was the guy who designed Tony's holographic technology in Civil War for that one scene. There's no way they were planning for that. No way in heck that they were saying this can lead to Mysterio. But they obviously did a deep dive in what do we have in the universe, what can we take it. They did the same thing with Vultures. Like, what do we have in our universe that we can use to expand it? It's like, okay, how about he's scavenging all these different parts and making super weapons with it? That's a great idea. Let's go with that. Here's like, what can we do for his illusion technology? Hey, remember that scene in Civil War? Let's use that and expand on that, and let's go with that. And I'm like, yes! Yes! And then just the little things, like minor characters that will appear for 1 second in a movie. Like, they hunt down the same actor, and he wasn't even much of a character, probably in the credits as scientist number 2. But now he is in this, and he's part of this whole conspiracy. I love that. Love each and every minute of it. And Mysterio is handled so well because the flippin' scenes with him. I mean, it's like, when he gets his hands on Spider-Man and is fooling him with the illusion crap, I was like, this is absolutely incredible. Probably one of the best CGI fight scenes I've ever seen. No, hands down, putting it down. I'm staking my claim. I'm saying it. You've heard it here first. This is the best Spider-Man fight there has ever been when Mysterio is kicking the crap out of Spider-Man using his vision tech. And the reason I say that is because Mysterio is using just his wits to outsmart him, you know? He is using, like, every time Spider-Man sees him and tries to punch him, he's punching a wall, and then he sees him and he's trying to web him and he's pulling down a crane that's going to land on top of him, and every single moment he has him by the ropes. And I remember seeing in the scene where the whole building illusion crumbled before him, and I was just like, okay, that's not Nick Fury. I know that's not Nick Fury because Nick Fury would know where his own building was. There's no way he would accidentally drive to the wrong one. But then they kept the scene going, and then Nick Fury is like, "Oh, I got him." Who else have you told? Is just like, I was just like, if I was in Peter's position, going through what I just went through, there's no way I'd have the cognitive ability to really think that far ahead. And boom, he gets hit by a train. The way they handled Mysterio's tech was very good. I love that. It's just these drones that are making these because, like, you never really exactly knew how Mysterio was doing it in the comics exactly. Like, they'd say, oh, I have projectors and doing holograms and whatnot. I was like, yeah, but how? How can you really have it flying all around and all that? And they have it is just, you know, he's using these drones that can clothe themselves and project other images. And that's great. I love that. Plus, Jake Gyllenhaal plays it really well. I was sad that they didn't make him an actor. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal is an actor, but what I mean is, like, Quentin Beck in the original story was an actor. You know, he was a Hollywood actor that thought he could take on Spider-Man, I think, and then he failed, and then he was washed up, and then he became Mysterio to go on crime sprees and whatever. But there were scenes where he was like talking to Peter one-on-one, and you really felt as like, obviously you know he was bad. I mean, but even you were questioning it a little bit in your mind, like, he seems pretty good, seems pretty cool. Like you knew you were right that he was the bad guy, but it's just like you never felt it, you know. He was always playing such a perfect con that you could totally believe other characters falling into that. I also like how Peter Parker is beat the crap out in this fight. You know, I don't really like it when it's just like the heroes walk away with just a couple of scratches and that's it. Like, his costume by the end of this fight was totally torn to shreds. And I like this whole thing where it's like, this was where it's like, do you keep the responsibility or do you hand it off to someone who you think can handle it better? You know, even though the responsibility was handed to you. And I like that theme for the movie because responsibility is all Parker's MO. That's all his thing. Where it's like, what are you responsible for and what can you take control of? Now, for the ending, here's the thing. First of all, screw the trailer. Not because of the ending, because they kept all the Mysterio stuff pretty out of the trailer, but screw the trailer for having the Mary Jane figures it out scene in the trailer, because I love that scene. He was just like trying to deny it, and you can see that she was like starting to realize, oh yeah, maybe I am just, you know, full of it. Maybe I didn't get this right. And then when he sees the projector and it all clicks in his head, he's like, oh man, we've all been played. It's just like, oh dang. Okay, well, he's like, I am Spider-Man. I'm sorry I was lying to you, but I gotta go to work. I hope he's not dead, okay? It's possible that Jake Gyllenhaal was like, I only kind of want to do this as a one-time thing, in and out. But I hope that's not the case, because Mysterio, the way he handled, thumbs up. And that's 2 out of the 2 Spider-Man villains that they put in this film that are very well handled, very good. Duh, I mean, it's just like, just have 4 to go. And you don't want to have to start back, well, no, I guess we already got Shocker and Scorpion. We just need to get him the suit. But anyways, I'm just saying, the last time they got really close to the Sinister Six, they choked. So let's not do that this time. Let's give us the character again moving forward. I don't know how they would do it, but I hope he's not dead. I hope he faked it somehow. But anyway, the ending, oh man, gave me chills. I'm like, yes! This is the Parker luck. This is everything. You've done everything right. You sacrificed everything you possibly could. You did everything humanly possible to be the hero, and you still get screwed. And all it ends up with is J. Jonah Jameson slandering your name, played by, hallelujah, J.K. Simmons. He's a little older. He's a little balder. And his mustache isn't the same. Who gives a crap? It's J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons. It's what we've all wanted. There's a reason they didn't cast J. Jonah Jameson in the last Spider-Man series. It's because they know they cannot top J.K. Simmons. And this film knew that they needed to get it right. They did. They got it right. And boom. So yeah, overall, I'm giving this a clap. I'm giving it a round of applause. I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. The only weird thing that I kind of wish, this is just personal preference, I wish Mysterio was in his outfit during the final battle. Just a little bit of a preference. And I also wish his outfit could actually do some of the stuff. Like, obviously, I didn't need to be flying around and everything, but maybe it could shoot something. But anyways, that's a little bit of a nitpick. In my opinion, I think this was a great movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't like the name Peter Tingle. Get Spider Sense out there, okay? And I guess that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, everybody. I am LaserDude. Adios.
Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.